Well, let's begin with the latest figures in the global COVID-19 pandemic. More than 730,000 cases have now been confirmed around the world. That's an increase of around 10% in just 24 hours. More than 34,000 people have lost their lives. More than 150,000 have recovered, half of them in China. Here in Moscow, we're now into the first day of a citywide partial lockdown. It was announced by the mayor just last night. People are required to stay at home whenever possible to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Auntie Zili Petrenko reports from the city centre.
Well, for a whole bunch of reasons, including early border restrictions, testing and quarantine measures for everyone coming into this country, and also pure luck. The outbreak of COVID-19 in this country, in this city in particular, wasn't as disastrous as in some other places around this world, which gave the Russian authorities a chance to try and balance between lighter measures and very strict measures in their attempts to flatten the curve. I guess we all know what this phrase means by now. In particular, the mayor of Moscow, the capital and this country's biggest city, and also the city with the most coronavirus cases, announced late on Sunday night that from that point, Moscow is going to be in full self-isolation mode. And the Russian Prime Minister, Mikhail Mishustin, followed up on that this morning.
The self-isolation rules apply to people of all ages. Exceptions are for those who require emergency help, need to get food, have to get to work, if that work hasn't been stopped by order of the government, or have another compelling reason.
So let me just explain what complete self-isolation means in the case of the Russian capital. For the people who are in Moscow, the rules are that they will only be allowed to leave their homes or places where they're staying only in case of emergency, to go to a pharmacy or to get groceries, or in case they have to continue working officially. Unnecessary movement is forbidden, but city borders still do remain open. People, besides this, have to keep social distancing everywhere, which is 1.5 meters. That's how it's been ordered by the government. And also, compensations have been announced for those who have lost their jobs. Now, as for how all of this is affecting the situation in the streets of the capital, I can tell you that there are apps with a score for how busy the roads in Moscow are from 1 to 10. And usually during the morning rush hour, it gets to as high as 8, well, sometimes 6, 7. Well, at about 10 a.m. on Moscow, it was 0. So that probably explained it. I barely saw people in the streets, at least in downtown Moscow, and clearly everything except for government offices, police stations, medical organizations, grocery shops and pharmacies, everything else is pretty much shut down. This is what Moscow looks like at this point.
President Trump has claimed that keeping COVID-19 deaths below 100,000 in the US would be a great achievement for his administration. The virus has so far killed more than 2,400 Americans.
You're talking about 2.2 million deaths